Pittsburgh, the Oakland Zoo is fired up for the 145th meeting between Pitt and Penn State. Panther coach Jamie Dixon hoping his team can start 7-0 for the 4th straight year. Meantime, Ed Duchell is rebuilding the Lion program in his 3rd year in Happy Valley. A college basketball matchup, 100 years old. The Nittany Lions of Penn State from the Big Ten against the undefeated Panthers of Pittsburgh from the Big East Conference. We've got a terrific basketball game set in the Peterson Event Center on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh. I'm John Sanders along with Charles Davis. We'll talk about a couple of the stars that we expect to see shine brightly this afternoon. We got to look inside, right?
Gary Claxton.
Peterson Event Center, 4th year. This has been the home of the Pitt Panthers, and the 4th year in a row it is sold out their basketball season. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for our game this afternoon. For Penn State, a little bit of a problem in depth at the guard spot because Ben Luber hurt his shoulder in the victory over UMKC. So Walker, Mike Walker, sophomore, will get the start there. And the starting point guard, there's been a lot of discussion. Is he point guard? Is he a 2 guard? He's the 5th-year senior Krauser, and he's the point guard, right?
He has to be because that's what he wants to be. So whatever you want to call him, just call him a terrific player.
He sure is, and he's happy to be back for his 5th year. Ed Duchell in his 3rd year. Of course, he was a longtime assistant in Happy Valley, 10 years there working with Bruce Parkhill, went to East Tennessee State, now in his 3rd season, and he's rebuilding the Nittany Lions program. Of course, what a great start to the head coaching career of Jamie Dixon.
You can't get much better than what he's done so far. Terrific young coach, great recruiter, and he's got his Panthers out to a 6-0 start this season.
Well, Jamie Dixon matched up against Ed Duchell. Our referee today is Jim Burr. Curtis Shaw and Glenn Mayborg are the umpires. So we've got a good crew, we've got a good crowd, and we're going to see some good basketball from the Peterson Event Center. Happy to have you with us this afternoon. You can see the Oakland Zoo right behind our broadcast position. They will make themselves known during the course of this game. Ramon controls the opening tip. Ronald Ramon, a sophomore from the Bronx. Boy, they have had a pipeline from New York City and the Bronx to this Pittsburgh program over the last few years.
And their assistant coach, Barry Rorson, does a terrific job recruiting the Bronx. And right away, Pittsburgh goes inside. And John DeGroot gets the initial hoop of the ball game.
He is the other senior on this team. He's a junior college transfer, and he gives the Panthers the early lead, 2-0 start for Pitt.
Both teams opening up man-to-man defense. Expect Penn State to mix things up and try possibly play a little more zone than they would normally with the height advantage of Pittsburgh.
And that scramble for the loose ball right in front of the Pittsburgh bench turns it back to the Panthers, so Pitt will have it. We played less than a minute, just over 30 seconds, and Jamie's already fired up along the sideline.
First possession of the game, they went inside to John DeGroat. Let's see if they want to get Aaron Gray involved early in this basketball game. The 7-footer, Penn State really has no match for him.
Kicks it out to DeGroat, passes on the 3, penetrates. Now Ramon, good 3-point shooter, rims off. But Gray has the offensive rebound, and the Panthers get a fresh clock.
Terrific ball movement by Pittsburgh on that rotation. And Gray comes down with the rebound. A nice passer from the low post. Starts things over again for Pitt.
Gray backs his man down. Jump hook, good.
As long as Penn State decides to play man-to-man, John, expect to see plenty of that today. Aaron Gray down on the low block. Brandon Hassel has more than his hands full with him.
This is Gary Claxton. He'll hand it off to Walker getting the start. That's a 3 on the way. Too strong. Weak side rebound, Krauser.
Tough for Claxton to try and get that one launched over Gray.
Again, they go down low. This time the shot's blocked, but he gets it back and then misses the shot. 2 good looks right that time for Gray, and he couldn't get either one to go.
Normally those go down for Aaron Gray, but I like what Pitt's doing early. Pound it to the big guy and force Penn State to make the adjustment.
Stepping in is Jackson. Kicks it down low, and they're going to have to bring it back out as Parker has it. Working inside. Forced one up. Boy, tough to shoot over 7 feet there.
Real tough. That was one of those plays where Travis Parker was determined to try and make something happen against Aaron Gray. He got inhaled on that possession.
The kick ball will keep it in Panther possession. 17:48 to play in the first half, and a 4-0 start for the University of Pittsburgh, and they are back to being the Pitt Panthers now.
Not that it ever really changed for anyone who was a longtime follower of the Pitt athletic program. They may have been wanted to call the University of Pittsburgh, but true fans always called them Pitt.
Here's DeGroat with it outside. One other thing you might notice about Penn State, there are no names on the backs of those jerseys. That is a three-pointer. So a terrific start for DeGroat as he hits the tray, and the Panthers open up with 7 unanswered.
Great recognition by Carl Krauser and Ronald Ramon at the point of the guard position. He realized Penn State went zone on the last possession, lined up a terrific look for DeGroat, and he knocked it down. And no names for Penn State. That's for unity. They want the team first and not worry about the name on the back of the jersey.
And the foul will go on Krauser. Picks up his first, the redshirt senior from the Bronx. Well, we talked about Aaron Gray inside, and take a look at some early shooting. He's working on 4 double-doubles in the first 6 games, so he has been a factor, and that is bending good. Getting the roll is Travis Parker, the senior from Greenville, North Carolina, gets his first basket.
Remember previously he tried to work inside on Aaron Gray, was unsuccessful. That time stepped behind the arc and knocked that one down over Levon Kendall.
But talk to Krauser about coming back and being really the man, the leader, the senior on this team. They kick it to DeGroat in the corner, penetrates, and then reverses, and gets it back again, and travels, turns it over. First turnover by Pittsburgh.
Being able to come back as a senior is one thing, but coming back without the guys, the cast of characters that you grew up with, the Chevy Troutmans, the Chris Taffs, those guys no longer there. It's a different role for Carl Krauser now. He's a senior leader with a new cast.
David Jackson turns it back the other way, and West Virginia has won that ball game. They've now won 4 in a row, a 20-point victory at home against Duquesne. It's a team that Pittsburgh has also defeated this year. Tough road for Danny Nee and Duquesne.
Yeah, the Iron Dukes playing back-to-back big-time rivalry games. Pitt at home the other night, and coming right back and going to West Virginia. Lost both of them.
Well, Krauser said, though, even it's a different makeup on this team, he enjoys it. He enjoys his role, and he's happy to be back.
I think he enjoys leading new guys. Great pass by Aaron Gray in the low post.
Might have got a piece of that on the way up as it spun out. So back come the Nittany Lions, down by 4.
It's a good cut by Ronald Ramon down the lane. Gray found him, unable to convert, but a nice look.
Again, coming outside, it's Claxton. Gives it off to Hassel. And he tried a tough pass, and it's batted away by Gray with 17 on the shot clock. We have hit our first timeout point. 15:52 to play. Pitt by 4. Pittsburgh 7 points so far in this opening half belong to the number 0. DeGroat is off to a good start both inside and outside.
Young man from Monticello, New York, a place that I'm very familiar with. Actually played high school basketball against that high school. My father was the coach at New Paltz High. Franklin Davis, he coached against John DeGroat's high school coach Dick O'Neill many a time. Good to see this young man off to a great start. Spotting up and hitting the 3, working down low for the initial basket of the game.
He gets his first breather of the afternoon. Sam Young has checked into that Panther lineup. Nittany Lions now control outside with David Jackson controlling the ball, a junior college transfer from Gaithersburg, Maryland. Leads Mike Walker, got the start this afternoon. And here is Claxton with penetration and a shot clock violation. 3rd turnover for Penn State.
They worked the clock down so far that Claxton had to try and make something happen going into the lane with the Pitt Panthers. That's the 3rd time I'm counting now. They've gotten their hands on the ball and forced either a turnover or a deflection here in the early going.
The defense has been part of their success over the last 4 years, and against Penn State over the last 4 years, as there's the first step travel on Krauser, they've really dominated this series. Overall, they're 108-25 in the past 4 years, and they are beating Penn State by an average of about 25 a game.
Yeah, and right now Penn State's turned it over 3 times in the early going. And you remember 2 years ago, and here's another turnover, Sam Young, and he'll finish it strong.
Does. Sam Young from Clinton, Maryland. Slams home 2. Part of the new look Panthers of Pitt.
Well, the athleticism that Sam Young brings off the bench was already evident in the defense and the finish. Do you remember 2 years ago, Penn State only scored 11 points in the first half of the ball game against Pitt.
Keith Benjamin in there as well. Penetration, getting the roll is Parker, and he has been the offense so far this afternoon for Penn State.
Undaunted by the block administered by Aaron Gray earlier in the game, worked his way into the lane and hit the short jumper.
There's the dump down to Gray. Drop back into a double team, and it's knocked away. Good defense that time as Claxton closed down on him. And Milos Bogatic is in the lineup for the first time. Long and lanky player from Serbia. Number 41 for Penn State is in there. Bogatic.
First 2 possessions of the game, Penn State matched up man-to-man. Since that time, been almost exclusively 2-3 zone. Going to make Pitt work from the perimeter if they can.
Gray with a little jumper from the side, rolls it in. That's his second basket, and back to a 7-point Pittsburgh lead. It's 11-5, 6-point lead rather.
So valuable when your 7-footer can make the short jumper as well. Another turnover.
5 now. Here's Benjamin on the wing, pulls up off the glass, too strong, but the follow is there by Krauser.
And John, I have a feeling Keith Benjamin's going to ask the stat guy if that can go down as an assist. Hey, Jason Kidd throws it off the backboard for Vince Carter for his dunks. What about for me?
Well, it worked out perfectly. Lost out of bounds. And of course, Claxton's going to claim that it was kicked away by Pittsburgh, but instead, turnover number 6 to Penn State. We also have on the Lawrence Levance Fields is on the court now for Pittsburgh. He's a 5'10 freshman from Brooklyn. You've got Young, another freshman who's been playing, and also Keith Benjamin, a sophomore. So it's a very young Pittsburgh team. That
it is, and we didn't look. We just saw that stat about a minute ago. It was 3-2. Now it's up to 6-2 against Penn State in terms of turnovers.
Krauser for 3. Got it. 37% three-point shooter. And Penn State's going to stop it right here because all of a sudden it's an 11-point game as the Panthers have found the shooting touch. They've moved the basketball well, and their offense is clicking so far.
And it started working inside out. Remember, the first 2 possessions of the game, they went down low to DeGroat. Aaron Gray has scored down low. Now they're able to work back to the perimeter. And this time, Carl Krauser lines it up and knocks it down over number 32, David Jackson, showing some range. He's way behind the 3-point line, but that's a straightaway jumper, and he's off to a terrific start shooting the ball.
Well, the Panthers started the game on a 7-0 run, and right now they're on another 7-0 run, so they've been scoring in spurts so far against Penn State.
And I think what Jamie Dixon and his staff are going to like about the second 7-0 spurt is that the defense is keyed it. You know, turnover, all converted into baskets for the Panthers.
Jamel Cornley has checked into the lineup for Penn State, and it was the bench scoring over 50 points in that victory over UMKC, their last win, off to a 4-2 start. And there's another turnover. Young trails the play, forced it up somehow, battle for the rebound, still loose. Controlled by the Panthers. On the weak side, Benjamin is fouled. And right now they're dominating the boards. And the foul will go on Geary Claxton. Picks up his first.
Now, I read earlier where Jeff Lebo, the head coach at Auburn, talked about how bruising Pittsburgh is to play against. Watch the strength of Sam Young. See that? He still is able to get the ball up on the 10, despite the fact that the ball was slapped at and he was fouled. Not fouled, but the ball was slapped away. And Keith Benjamin, the beneficiary of the offensive rebound, he's fouled, goes to the free throw line. I remember that quote by Jeff Lebo. Anytime my guys don't want to go to the weight room, I start to mention the fact of playing against Pittsburgh and how beat up we were. That should get them in, make them go get a little tougher.
I'll tell you what, too, Charles, over the years they have built their reputation on being a very physical team. When they play defense against you, you know they're against you.
You're looking for ice bags and whirlpools after you've taken on the Pitt Panthers, but that's indicative of the league in total. That is the Big East. You've got to be physical to survive it.
The foul goes on Tyrell Biggs before the shot. And Panthers controlling the rebound as well, 7-2 in that category as Marquette and Wisconsin. It'll be Wisconsin playing here in Pittsburgh at the end of the month. New Year's Eve, as a matter of fact. Good job by Claxton to stay with it. Gets the putback.
A tough game, tough matchup for Marquette. In-state rivalry game, of course. Big East versus Big Ten. And Wisconsin, always a tough match. Final 8 last year under Bo Ryan before losing to North Carolina.
Here's Krauser outside along the baseline. Young, a reverse dunk. That will get them on their feet. Wow.
And against the zone defense, Carl Krauser with the vision from the top to find Young along the baseline with the ultra-athletic finish.
Walker with it. Cornley penetrates, puts it up, and hits it. Tough shot right there.
Tough shot, tough young man. They love him. They love what Jamel Cornley brings to the table. He has the toughness that you need in the Big East. A lot of teams thought he might be a little bit short for his game because he's a power forward.
Krauser is lighting it up from long range, 22-9.
Wasn't it just about a week and a half ago they were writing articles wondering about Pittsburgh's three-point shooting? Don't have to worry about it now.
Claxton almost lost it. Gets it up. That's blocked and out of bounds. So the Panthers will have it. Krauser is 3 for 3. 2 of those are three-pointers. And all of a sudden it is a 22-9 lead for Pittsburgh. They have had a red-hot start to this game. First 7.5 minutes, the Panthers have been in control. It's 22-9 Pitt. All the stats right now favoring Pittsburgh as they are off to a red-hot start and as good a dunk as you'll ever see coming off the feed.
Carl Krauser over the top. Sam Young with the catch going baseline and the reverse dunk. And then coming right back, Carl Krauser. 2 assists in the early going. How about 2 trays also?
But Graves is checked into the lineup. Antonio, native of Ohio. They apply the pressure, a trap out in front, but the Panthers handle that. 11:30 to play. We're in the first half, and it's been a great start for Pittsburgh. They're 9 of 16 shooting, including 3 out of 4 three-pointers.
Those are percentages that'll win for you every time. Penn State had sat back in a 2-3 zone. Now they extend things, trying to trap and get the ball out of the hands of their playmakers.
That's a little too strong. Tip-up won't go, and battling underneath with a putback is Tyrell Biggs, another product of the New York area.
Nice job by Tyrell Biggs carving out a little bit of space down low and getting onto the glass before anyone else can get back up for a second jump. He's an undersized 5-man right now for the Pitt Panthers, normally a power forward.
Bogatic for 3, and the rebound kept alive by Claxton. He goes back to the baseline and draws the foul. Looks like Levon Kendall might have gotten him with the body. That'll be the first on Kendall, the redshirt junior from Canada. This is a little different look because they're rotating a lot of guys, and in the past you'd see 6, maybe 7 guys for Pittsburgh. They're going to go 9 and 10 deep. They really rotate those young players.
And what I'm anxious to watch as the season develops, John, is whether or not Pitt will continue with this deep of a rotation. I'm wondering if Jamie Dixon's trying to ascertain, do I want to play this way all year long, or am I giving a lot of people a great number of minutes now to see who earns the minutes that I'll need during the Big East season. We'll see how that plays out for the Panthers.
Parker's checked back in as Bogatic goes to the bench for Penn State. Missed them both. But Claxton not able to add to the total. A slow start. You mentioned the bad start they had against the Panthers a couple of years ago. Pittsburgh has really dominated this series. Good inside move, but a missed shot, and then follows his own shot. That misses and it's tipped out of bounds.
Tough thing for Penn State right now is that Pitt is getting to seemingly every loose ball. Now ball missed, they end up getting it for a second chance opportunity. Ball slapped free, Pitt's on it right away. Quicker to the basketball, creating a number of extra opportunities for themselves on the offensive end.
And Gray is back in as Biggs will sit down for the Panthers. And we've got a little question about the clock. Curtis Shaw will go over and take a look at that. Make sure all the numbers are in place. We have 10:25 remaining. Panthers set to inbound under their own basket.
Zip.
And they're going to put 4 more seconds apparently back on the clock. Keep in mind those stoppages of the clock are controlled by the devices that the officials have on their belts.
Yeah, they're little Jetson packs that they wear. Yeah, George Jetson came up with that, working for Spaceless Sprockets, I think, and it works out pretty well most of the time. What I'm interested in watching for Penn State, they have so many undersized guys trying to play bigger that it tends to take its toll on you as the game goes on, leaning against all the bigs that Pitt has. How will they do with fatigue?
Benjamin kicks it back outside. Three-pointer on the way, comes up short, but kept alive. Good job that time by Levon Kendall.
Couldn't grab the rebound, but was smart enough to slap it out and give them another opportunity, and they convert, getting inside with Antonio Graves.
Graves got it back on the pass. That's tipped out of bounds. Who touched it last? It's going to be Penn State ball. Now, we expected that there would be an edge in rebounding for Pitt, but it's been huge so far here in the first half. 13-4.
And the defense of Pitt going against a team, Penn State, that prides itself on taking care of the basketball. They're not turnover prone. Their guards do a great job handling the ball, but Pitt is really forcing them to a lot of mistakes early. You can tell Penn State misses Ben Luber at the point guard position, out with a shoulder injury, as you detailed at the top of the show.
Well, they also miss Danny Morrissey, who is out for the entire season with a knee problem. So they've got some people hurting.
Yeah, he's a good ball handler and a terrific shooter. he would be a starter for this team right now.
Walker penetrates, bending good. Another tough shot. None of them are easy so far.
No, that's the thing that the Pitt staff will like. They don't like anyone scoring, but no shots have been easy. Mike Walker, normally a three-point shooter, worked his way inside for that one.
Kendall tries to track down another offensive rebound, but back come the Nittany Lions. This is Jackson with it. He'll stop and go move, and a deflection steal. Nicely done by Fields. Trailing is Krauser, and he scores.
A good job of not blowing the whistle by the officials because Travis Parker was directly under the basket. Very similar to an NBA deal where they have that little half circle arc. Anything in there, you kind of leave alone.
Good spin move inside, but unable to finish is Cornley, and the rebound by Gray. Here's Field. Boy, he can move it. Spotting up outside, that's going to rim off underneath Krauser. I think Krauser was hanging on to somebody.
They're going to determine someone was hanging on to him. I think they're going to get Mike Walker with the foul against Krauser.
I think that could have gone either way.
I agree with you totally. Unfortunate for Mike Walker, they saw it his way. But what I liked about the last break, Lee Vance Field's leading the break, but the Panthers running it in such organized fashion. Antonio Graves running to the three-point line and spotting up, and then being in position to receive the pass.
Well, how good is he this afternoon? He looks at the crowd. He looks at the Oakland Zoo. 13 points, 5 for 5, shooting for Carl Krauser. All of a sudden, it's a 20-point ball game. How did that happen?
And Krauser came into the game 37% from behind the arc. Those numbers will go up if he keeps up this pace today.
Almost another turnover saved by Claxton. Goes baseline and is fouled. That'll be on Antonio Graves. I'll tell you what, if you're a Pittsburgh basketball fan, you've got to be encouraged by this first half. It's been dynamite.
Well, this is a team, you mentioned it earlier, that prides itself on its defense. 5 of their last 7 opponents last year scored over 70 points. This year, they've held 5 straight opponents to 60 points or below. That's more like Pittsburgh basketball. That's what they're looking for on the defensive end.
And another foul against Graves. That is his second foul. So Antonio Graves picks up number 2, and he's going to take a quick seat. Here's John DeGroat back on.
They gained some coaching there from Joe Lombardi, one of the assistants for Pitt. Antonio Graves in there, just trying to be too aggressive on the defensive end. That's one they'll live with.
Rimmed out. Almost banked home a 3 that time.
Yeah,
did Mike Walker.
I don't think he called the bank on that one.
Look at Krauser work the baseline. And he hits the deck. Foul is going to go on Parker. Travis Parker picks up number 1. The Panthers of Pitt are on the roll. They lead it by 20 points. Quick hands, quick basket. Pittsburgh in control. Perfect blend of offense and defense for Pittsburgh, including some runs. We are here in Pittsburgh at the Peterson Event Center. A 31-11 score. I'm John Sanders with Charles Davis. Let's take a look at Carl Krauser. What a half he's had. He hasn't missed yet.
Hasn't missed, and he's done it at the defensive end as well with quick hands. Lining up the 3-ball earlier in the ball game from straight away. How about another one? If you're not going to go out and guard me, I'm feeling it today. And how about this one? Drains it and turns and lets the crowd know I'm feeling it today. Carl Krauser off to a terrific start. 13 points.
20-point ball game. And it has happened in a hurry.
Yeah, they forced 8 turnovers, three of them steals, and they lead in points off of turnovers 12-0.
Ramon for 3, it rattles out. Rebound Young, and he puts it back. Boy, he's impressive, isn't he? The freshman from Maryland?
Yes, he is, and I'm seeing the benefits of the strength training program for Pitt, because even when they're tough rebounds, they find a way to power their way into them, hang on to the basketball, and finish plays.
Finally, a basket from outside for Gary Claxton. That's just his second field goal this afternoon.
He's a guy they need to score in a big way for them to compete this afternoon. Great move by Aaron Graham. Patience in the post.
Off the good feed by Krauser. 35-13. And we did not expect this at this point in the afternoon. Let's take a look at our Hyundai Cool Fact. Now that's the defense you were talking about, Charles, and they have been outstanding, and if anything, they're better so far this year than they have been even in the last 4, and they've been great.
They've been great, and you look at 2004, 2005, they consider that an aberration. You know, the way that they finished, 7 opponents going over 60, 70 points per ball game. 5 of the last 7 as they went down the road as they finished the season. So they're thinking giving up 63.5 points a game is not good. Look at 40% field goal rate. A lot of people would like that. For the Panthers, they think that's subpar. 37% this year. That's more to Jamie Dixon and his staff's liking.
It is the 7th foul, so the Lions are in the bonus. David Jackson, transfer from Gulf Coast Junior College. He's 10 of 15 at the line so far this year. 7:02 to play in the half, and he gets the first.
They've liked what he's brought to State College, Pennsylvania. A little bit of leadership, some toughness. Handles the basketball very well, has a lot of energy, and he's 4th in the Big Ten coming into this week. An assist-to-turnover ratio. So he understands the value of taking care of the ball.
And he chases down the loose ball after the miss of the free throw.
Well, the energy that he brought to State College, and they like it. And with Ben Luber out, he has to handle the ball even more from the point guard position.
Luber suffering that shoulder injury in the victory over UMKC. It was a victory that was really sparked, though, by the bench play. The penetration, but a nice block inside. Silk McSweeney got inside, but that's where he met the big hand and the defense. There's the baseline feed and a basket. Young again off the Krauser feed. The foul will be on McSweeney.
Look at Krauser with the crossover and an excellent pass inside. Nice job by Sam Young anticipating Carl Krauser beating his man inside, and he worked his way moving without the ball to put himself in a position to receive the pass and convert.
Well, Young misses the chance for the old-fashioned three-point play, but the Panthers get it back as they have controlled the glass both offensively and defensively. Krauser checks in with head coach Jamie Dixon. Panthers looking to go 7-0 for the 4th straight year. The Panthers already with 20 rebounds in this ballgame. Ramon penetrates. Bending, good. Aaron Gray with his 4th basket.
Great possession for the Panthers because they were trying to set up Carl Krauser curling off of a double screen. Didn't have it, went to the counter on that play, worked it to the opposite side, and Gray finished.
Every shot is being challenged. That's touched last by Gary Claxton as he hits the deck underneath his own basket, and 5:49 to play. It's a 25-point ball game, and as I said, this is not what we expected between these two teams.
No, when you get a rivalry game, you never expect the gap to be this high, this early in the ball game. But Pitt is taking control of this game, beginning early with their defense and their ability to get to almost every loose ball before Penn State does.
Foul number 2 on Silk McSweeney, a junior from Hallandale, Florida. Doyle Hudson, a junior college transfer who's from the Bahamas, will check into the lineup for the first time. 7 different Panthers have scored in the ballgame, and 11 guys have played already this afternoon. Krauser. And that's palming, a point of emphasis in college basketball.
They're trying to get back to the days where you controlled the dribble. You know, as us old school types would say, the right way, as opposed to carrying it with you and getting 2 steps before the ball hits the floor again.
But the problem is most of these kids were brought up the other way.
Yes, they were.
Inside, Walker is blocked, and the rebound ripped out of there by Hudson.
It's nice when as soon as you hit the floor, as Doyle Hudson did, to contribute positively.
Oh, what a move. What a beautiful move by Krauser as he blew by his defender, took it all the way, went to the left hand, and scored. That's a 3 for McSweeney.
Good job continuing to hustle by Silk McSweeney, beating everyone down the floor and spotting up and draining the 3.
Krauser still has not missed a shot here in the first 15 minutes. He's 6 for 6, and 3 of those are three-pointers. Well, he's showing his entire game so far this afternoon. Hudson, no place to go. Tried to go to Krauser, and they turn it over. Back the other way comes Parker.
Tough pass because they were so close to each other.
Another 3. That'll bring you back in a hurry. 2 in a row now for Silk McSweeney.
Yeah, but Jamie Dick's going to take a quick 30 here. What he'll say to Doyle Hudson is floor spacing. You got a cutter coming, and he's about a foot away from you. You barrel the ball at him. Hard to handle that one.
Take a look at some top 25 college basketball results. A busy Saturday in college basketball. Louisville rolling over Akron. They are at home. That game is in the second half. Cardinals undefeated. How about a matchup of 1 and 2, and right now number 1 has the lead.
And that's not a surprise, really, because Duke, that game being played in the Meadowlands, I believe Duke comes into this weekend 11-1 all time in the games in the Meadowlands.
NC State leads App State in the first half by 8 points. Texas still undefeated. They sneaked away and got one on West Virginia in the Guardians Classic in Kansas City.
That they did. That was a close one. West Virginia appeared to have it under control. Arizona down 4 early. St. Mary's.
4:25 to play first half here. It's the guy that's helped bring him back right there, number 45, Silk McSweeney. He had 2 3-pointers on the season in the first 6 games coming in, and he's got 2 this afternoon.
He's a guy that wants to earn playing time. Well, we're finding the reasons for him to get more playing time. He knows he stayed on the floor for Ed DeChellis' crew.
Levon Kendall, Krauser, here he comes. A little runner, bending off, and missed for the first time, and a foul on the rebound. And the foul will go against the junior college transfer from Roane State Junior College. Doyle Hudson picks up the foul, and he'll go to the bench. Aaron Gray is back in the lineup. He's got 8 early points, but Carl Krauser has been the show. He's been the man this afternoon with 15.
And that was his first miss, correct?
Yes.
And he's over there talking with Jim Burr, trying to figure out, what's palming, what's not palming. He's telling, that's my handle. That's the way I work it. But what I liked about him is something you mentioned earlier, was how he's showing the whole package. Even on the miss, he shows the ball fake first to allow himself to work inside for the short jumper.
Listen to this number. Pittsburgh has 18 field goals. Penn State has 18 field goal attempts. That's a huge difference.
Think about how many empty possessions Penn State has had where they haven't even gotten a shot off due to the defense of the Pitt Panthers.
Kendall got inside, no place to go, and now before the shot, the foul goes the other way.
Take it 3 seconds against Kendall, got caught inside.
41-20, Pitt.
Ladies and gentlemen, please.
We are back. It's 41-20 along with Charles Davis. I'm John Sanders. We're on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh, and we expected this matchup, the 145th matchup, to be a much tighter game than we've seen in the past, because Pittsburgh really, in the last 4 years, Charles, they have dominated Penn State. And
they've jumped on them, and you figure Penn State would come in ready to go. Had some injuries, though. Ben Luber, their starting point guard, not playing today. You know, they had injuries in preseason that hurt them. They don't have much depth. And Pitt came in focused and ready to go from the opening buzzer today.
And shooting over 50% so far. That's one of the pluses. Also, Maxwell Dubois hurt himself in practice yesterday. He's one of the reserve guards, so they are really thin at that outside position.
Just don't have enough guys to handle the ball against Pittsburgh's pressure right now. You're asking a lot of Mike Walker and David Jackson, their starting duo. Plus, Pitt is just controlling the backboard today. 23-7 in rebounding, 13 of those offensive for the Panthers.
Cornley called for the hold. He'll pick up his first foul. Jamel Cornley, the freshman from Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, a lot of people said, how did he get out of Ohio? You know, how did Ohio State not jump on him?
I think maybe he's just not big enough, because they've got a heck of a recruiting class coming in at Ohio State.
They've got one of those Fab Five recruiting classes coming in that they're so excited about. They just determined that the way he plays as a power forward, they didn't see him as a small forward, and that's what he'd have to play for them.
It is touched last by Keith Benjamin. So the Panthers turn it back the other way. They've led by as many as 25 here in the first half. Excuse me, 27 in the first half. Right now leading by 21. Walker kicks it outside to McSweeney. Now Jackson with it. Cornley weaves his way inside. He kind of wiggled inside and got the basket.
Did a good job because he was able to work his way in before Levon Kendall was able to come over and help. So it never turned into a double team situation. He kept it as a one-on-one move.
This is Fields with it. Now Benjamin to Krauser. Slipped out of his hand. Nearing the 2-minute mark. Stay with us for the Nissan halftime report. We'll talk about some of the terrific starts that some of the Big East teams have had. And finally, the Nittany Lions come out of there with it. Walker with it.
That's good post defense that time. It forced Aaron Gray into a difficult shot on the baseline.
But another tough shot, that running jumper by Walker. Really had no room, couldn't set himself. Not really getting any easy looks at the basket. Underneath, loose, still loose.
And look who comes up with it again. Levon Kendall for Pitt.
Down the basket. Gray from behind had it blocked. Knocked away by Hassel from behind.
Terrific block by Hassel.
Foul goes on Pitt. That is Krauser's second. Claxton will check back in for Penn State.
Nice pass by Krauser. Great catch by Gray. You don't think about 7-footers a lot of the time being able to be that adept at moving to the basket. But Brandon Hassel erased the two nice plays with a big-time block off the backboard.
But unfortunately for Penn State, that may be the first time we've called his name this afternoon.
Need to be able to call it a lot more when you're matched up against an Aaron Gray. They've got to have a lot out of Brandon Hassel. Haven't gotten as much as they've needed thus far this afternoon.
David Jackson 1 for 3 at the foul line. He's averaging almost 9 points a game.
Yeah, to cap your point, John, I mean, Brandon Hassel's the only guy with any type of length as well as size for Penn State to try and match up with the bigs at Pitt. So he's got to take it upon his shoulders to play even bigger than normal today.
So that cuts off a 9-0 run as Antonio Graves gets the three-point basket. Penn State had been on a 9-0 run, trying to get back in the ball game, but down again by 21 points. Almost slipped through Claxton's hands again as he gets it to Corning. Now Walker resets. Shot clock at 12. Walker drops back for a three. That's short. And the push on the rebound will go against Penn State's Jamel Cornley, his second foul. And we're going to walk to the other end. Panthers are in the bonus.
How many times have we talked about a difficult shot in the first half of Penn State? And Mike Walker was 5 for 8 from behind the arc against UMKC. Not the case today.
Yeah, the new Big East Conference with 3 of their 16 teams in the top 5. We'll talk about that on our Nissan halftime report. Check out some other scores. And, of course, have all the highlights and stats from the opening 20 minutes. Kendall hits the free throw. That's his first point.
People who know Levon Kendall as Tyrell Biggs, number 5, comes into the game. Many of them remember the 40 points he put up for Team Canada against the U.S. in a ball game in the summertime. And they're thinking, boy, he's a big-time scorer. But on this team, he doesn't have to be a big-time scorer. They want other things out of him. They want him to be more of a rebounder. He's trying to produce that for Jamie Dixon.
Claxton. Little touch foul on Benjamin that time. Not much contact there at all. But it goes as a foul, 46-23. We have 44.5 seconds to play here in the opening half. Matchup of the Big Ten. We talked about that Penn State 9-0 run, but Pitt has had runs of 7, 8, 7, 5, and 6.
Add them all together, it's a nice first half.
It's a bunch. Claxton with 5 points. He's averaging almost 16 a game. Parker's been kind of quiet. He's averaging 10 a game, and he has only 5 in the first half. 1 out of 2 at the line. Knocked out of bounds. So Penn State will keep a good hustle that time on the missed free throw by Brandon Hassel.
One thing to keep in mind, as dominating as Pitt has been in the first half, is not that Penn State is not well coached. It's just athletically, they're having trouble matching up with Pitt right now. Ed DeChellis does a terrific job, but he still needs a number of athletes into his program in order to be as effective as he wants Penn State to be.
Kendall hits the deck and touched it last. It goes out of bounds. There's a 6-second difference between game clock and shot clock, as the Nittany Lions will have the basketball right in front of the Panther bench. Here's Walker. Mike limited to just one field goal this afternoon. And there's another turnover. No, he got it back. And finally, Pittsburgh comes out of there with it. The Panthers have it. Ramon, technical foul.
Yeah, I think that's going to go against Jamel Cornley. Was very unhappy that he did not receive a foul down low and was saying something going down the court and got tagged there by Curtis Shaw. Excuse me. Was that Curtis who got him? Or was
Yes, it was Curtis.
It was Curtis Shaw who popped it.
So that will go as a personal as well. So he's got 3 fouls. Ramon will go to the line, and then the Panthers will get the basketball back as Curtis Shaw is explaining the situation to Ed DeChellis, the head coach. DeChellis, graduate of Penn State, longtime assistant there, then went away to East Tennessee State, and now back. Ramon makes 1 out of 2, and that was just his second miss this season. He's now 9 of 11.
But what Jamel Cornley was complaining about is, he's been cut. And he said he received that cut on the last sequence where he was trying to go up for a shot. So he said, if they drew blood, didn't someone have to touch me?
Fields from outside into the hands of Kendall. Point blank putback right there for Levon Kendall. That's his first field goal, and the Panthers can head to the locker room with a big lead. It's 49-24. Krauser's been the story. The fifth-year senior has 15 points, and Pitt is in control. Of the Big Ten and the Big East have played the first 20 minutes of action. Let's talk about some teams that are hot. 3 of them ranked in the top 5, starting with the Huskies of UConn.
They just won the Maui Invitational. Terrific field that they beat there. And Rudy Gay is getting plenty of help from Josh Boone on the boards.
And right behind is that guard-dominated Villanova Wildcat basketball team.
Yeah, you take a good look at Randy Foy, the co-player of the week, but Allen Ray chipping in nearly 21 points per ball game also.
And the Cardinals of Louisville playing for the first time in the Big East Conference, and they're off to a great start.
Oh, and they're loving life in the Big East. Of course, they haven't played in the Wars yet, but Taekwon Dean, 4 threes per ball game from behind the arc.
And the Pittsburgh Panthers, for the 4th year in a row, have started 6-0, looking for number 7 this afternoon.
As expected, Carl Krauser is the leader, but getting plenty of help from the big guy this year, Aaron Gray.
And what about Syracuse? They've lost a couple of games early on.
Yeah, tough loss at home against Bucknell, but Jerry McNamara does more than just shoot the basketball, averaging a little more than 2 steals per ball game also.
And just about 60 miles to the south. Don't forget about those Mountaineers. They can shoot the threes.
But there's no way you can talk about West Virginia and not say Pitt's Noggle. But Mike Gansey is their leading scorer, and John Beilein knows how to coach. Those
are some of the teams that are hot in the Big East. We've got more to come. We'll be back to Pittsburgh with more Big East Conference basketball right after this. I'm John Sanders, and as you would expect, Charles, the stats pretty much have to favor Pittsburgh all the way through.
Yeah, for one, statistics don't lie. Pittsburgh dominated the first half. And when you take a good look at them, you understand why. 10% advantage in field goals. The offensive rebounds, huge. That means what? Second chance opportunities. The points in the paint led by Aaron Gray for Pittsburgh, dominating there as well. And of course, getting out and running. What all teams like to do, 8-0 in favor of Pittsburgh.
And it was all those runs that they had, whether it was 8-0, 7-0, they would just put points in rapid fire on the board against Penn State, and it was a little too much. The Nittany Lions did have a 9-0 run of their own, but at intermission they find themselves down by 25, which has kind of been the norm in this series. As a matter of fact, the last 4 years, Pittsburgh has won by an average of about 25 points.
And it's very difficult to come back against Pittsburgh because of the defense that they play. They get down, they get dirty, they get gritty, and they forced a lot of turnovers in the first half and converted off of those.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the second half. We've got 20 more minutes of basketball to go. Panthers by 25 at halftime. We'll be back after this. Continuing with our Nissan halftime report, a 25-point lead for the Panthers. They played 11 different players in the first half. 9 of them scored. But as you look at some of the highlights, the guy that did most of that scoring is the 5th-year senior, Carl Krauser.
It's one thing to be a leader and say you're going to lead, but when you do it by example, that's when you're a real leader, and Carl Krauser did just that in the first half. He had 3 threes in the first 20 minutes. You just saw 2 of them. How about passing the ball? 3 assists in the first half. Sam Young the beneficiary of that one. And then this time, using the bounce and the spin to get to the glass and convert. Penn State did have a few highlights in the first half. Silk McSweeney, that's one of his 3 triples in the first half. Jamel Cornley likes to play the power game, gets down low, 4 points in the first half using his muscle. And Brandon Hassel, one of his 2 blocks there, a big one against Aaron Gray, leading to a run out by Penn State, culminating in a foul against Pittsburgh as David Jackson tries to score.
But all too often in the first half, that break was going the other way, and there were just too many turnovers at the other end by the Nittany Lions. And the Panthers took advantage of that. In attendance, David Littlefield is the general manager of the Pirates. Of course, they're all pumped up because they've got a hometown boy coming back to play for them named Sean Casey.
One of the great guys you'll ever meet.
Absolutely.
Sean Casey. So his personality, as well as his talent, will energize this city and PNC Park come this spring.
They also signed bullpen guy Roberto Hernandez, who has some pretty good credentials in his career. So we'll see if they can take a step upward this year. Meantime, the Panthers of Pitt have been in control in this basketball game, and this team, I think so far, I think they're deeper and maybe more athletic than I expected.
And we saw plenty of evidence of that in the first half. I think what Jamie Dixon and his staff are looking for, you always hear Coach talk about the first 4 minutes of a half to start the game and to start the second half. Will they keep the same intensity that they displayed in the first 20 minutes? And will they come out and play that way and play like the score is 0-0, the old cliche, instead of up big?
Claxton, Parker, Hassel, Jackson, and Walker, the 5 starters for Penn State, back out there again. This is a nice move inside. Does not get the roll, and right there is Gray. He's out there with DeGroat, Kendall, Ramon, and Krauser, the same starting 5. Krauser all the way in. Yes, banks it home. 17 for Krauser.
Well, 1 possession for each team, and so far so good for Pitt. Forced a tough shot by Claxton, rebounded the basketball, got the run out by Krauser.
Back to their biggest lead so far, 27 points. Not able to finish was Brandon Hassel. He got a good lane coming down, he just couldn't make the shot.
Yeah, I can hear the coaches talking now. Everything but the finish. You need the finish. Some coaches will say, otherwise don't give me the move. Brandon Hassel beating Aaron Gray down the lane and does not convert.
DeGroat hit a 3 in the first half. He misses that one. Kendall's there for the follow, and good. Levon Kendall, redshirt junior from Vancouver, British Columbia.
Love the offensive rebound. What I liked also was his patience, realizing the defender was there, letting him fly by before going back up for the stick back.
Remember, the game started with a 7-0 run, and the Panthers now have come out quickly to score the first 4 points of the second half. So unfortunately for Penn State, this is starting just like it did in the opening 20 minutes. Krauser with the rebound. That one was partially blocked. Every shot Walker's taken has really been contested.
Another tough runner by Walker. Nice up fake by Ramon. And then he steps inside, drains it. So all questions about the intensity of the Panthers and how they would start the second half appear to have been answered.
31-point lead, a 6-0 run to start the second half. And for Ramon, the sophomore, that's his first basket of the afternoon.
So fundamentally sound on defense, closing out on shooters and ball handlers, stepping out and then stepping back to their own defensive assignment. Nice drive by Claxton, a tough finish, and he got it to go.
The foul is on DeGroat, that's his first. Just 1 of 4 from the foul line in the first half, so he is struggling in that area, and there's Gray with another rebound.
They can't leave points at the free throw line.
Oh, over the top. And DeGroat finishes it off on the pass by Krauser. They are flying here at the Peterson Event Center. 2.5 minutes gone in the second half, and Pittsburgh has come out on fire again.
See, when you leave points at the free throw line or you have empty possessions, the Panthers have a great ability to capitalize on the other end, as we just saw. And his free throw turned into a high-flying dunk.
The foul is on Levon Kendall, his second. There's that feed over the top. Good communication right there.
Had a chance to talk with John DeGroat before the ball game and swap notes from the home area. And I said, John, are you ready to give us something today? And he said, yeah, always ready. What are you going to give me? He said, a great Panther game, which tells me the mindset of this ball club. Not so much I'm going to give you something, but we are going to give you something. And that you know, coaches love when they hear that unsolicited.
Well, he did score the first 5 points of the afternoon. Got the Panthers off and rolling. I think he's going to get another one because somebody was in the lane too quickly. So let's try it one more time. Parker with 6 points. He missed again, kept alive underneath, and now knocked out of bounds. Touched last by Brandon Hassel. Hassel trying to do his part, not able to control.
That's good hustle by Brandon Hassel, trying to get a hand on the basketball and control an offensive rebound. Unsuccessful, but they'll like the effort.
Weak side rebound comes away to Mike Walker, the sophomore. Three-pointer from deep in the corner, it rattles out into the hands of Gray.
Like what Hassel did on defense the last time down. Made it a tough shot for Aaron Gray trying to get to the baseline.
Kendall to Ramon for three. Bending off, tipped up, and kept alive by Gray. Back into the hands of Ramon.
Another terrific job by the Pitt bigs. When they can't get both hands on the basketball and control it, they do their best to slap the ball out towards the guards and keep it alive. That time, Levon Kendall picked up the loose ball.
Three on the way and good. Krauser with 20 points. That is his his fourth three-pointer of the afternoon.
And he stepped out on the on the sideline, David Jackson.
Well, Carl Krauser is only 8 of 9 in this ball game. He's got 20 points. His season high is 27. His career high is 31. A steal by Walker and a strip. Back comes Krauser. It's 2 on 3. DeGroat stops and pops from 3. That's off the front of the iron into the hands of Walker.
Love the effort of Mike Walker, though. Not giving up on this basketball game.
Easy finish that time for Claxton after the miss by Walker. But I'll tell you what, that young man, Mike Walker's doing what he can to try to add a little emphasis to this for Penn State.
That he is. He's hit the floor a number of times today due to some tough runners and trying to get to the basket. Hasn't really received a call thus far. But undaunted, he continues to stay in the fray.
Krauser again for 3, bending off, and a foul. And over the back, picking up his second foul is Aaron Gray. So Gray will take us to a timeout. 60-29, Pitt's in front. 60-29, Pitt is dominating Penn State, which has kind of been their story the last 4 years. Here's a play that got them on their feet and going. Listen. Almost as exciting as that reverse dunk that we had in the first half by Sam Young.
Pretty neat. You saw DeGroat pop his Pitt jersey at the end. I've heard so much debate about those things, John. Is it an expression that shouldn't be out there? All I know is this. If a kid is popping the team name, I like that a heck of a lot better than when they just point to themselves like they did it all on their own. While John DeGroat was showing that his team is playing well.
They have dominated the backboards. They've pretty much dominated every aspect of the game. Rebound by Keith Benjamin off the missed three-pointer. Here's Krauser. He's 8 for 10. He finds Kendall, who gets it back to Benjamin, steps inside the arc and misses the shot. Tipped away and brought down by Claxton. Nittany Lions have it. Coming back is Jackson. Now Walker. Well, he has been hounded by Carl Krauser. That's a first step travel on Brandon Hassel. Started to make a move down the lane. Forgot to put the ball on the court.
You're asking Brandon Hassel, who is a center of 5, to catch the ball about 20 feet from the basket and start to try and make a move. That is not part of his game. You want him closer to the basket before that sequence begins.
Kendall to Benjamin. Fields is in there. It's him with it. Biggs works his way up, misses the shot. The rebound by Jackson.
Yeah, influenced by Hassel on that play. Stayed down, didn't buy the fake. Made it a tough shot for Biggs.
Now Walker on the outside. Almost thrown away again, and it is picked up by Levance Fields. Krauser leaves it for Kendall. Panthers extend their lead, 62-29.
They're having a lot lot of fun playing the game of basketball. You can tell, obviously with a big lead, you're having fun, but they're doing it on both ends. Defense keying their offense, and then sharing the basketball oh so well. See, the defense starts it. Levance Fields looking up, the hit ahead to Krauser. He could have taken it to the basket and scored, but he helps his teammates benefit. That's why guys continue to run the floor. If you run it, you'll get a chance to score.
Kendall will sit down for the Panthers. Fields will bring it up, and when he's at the point, that does move Carl Krauser to that number 2 spot.
It's really helped Carl Krauser a lot, not having to handle the ball exclusively this year. Averaged a little more than 4 turnovers per ball game last year. Here in the early going this year, he's averaging less than 3. So you can see he's benefited from Ronald Ramon and Levance Fields taking care of the basketball.
That's 3 fouls now on Parker. It came before that drive to the basket. So with 13:45 to play, the Panthers will have it under their own basket. Bring it out to Young. This is Krauser. Keith Benjamin. Fields penetrates, puts up a runner. Offensive foul. So the first foul on Levance Fields. Wisconsin defeating Marquette 77-63, and I mentioned the Badgers will be here in this building on New Year's Eve.
And that's going to be a great game to watch. Their type of styles, both of them physical. Both of them can get out and run and shoot the basketball. That should be a terrific matchup.
Right through the hands of Parker and out of bounds.
Can't fault Mike Walker on that one. A nice pass. Parker just unable to control it.
So Krauser to the bench.
Could be an early day for Carl Krauser. If Jamie Dixon so chooses, he may just want to get more experience for Levance Fields and Ronald Ramon at the point guard position.
Well, he's got 20 and he's got 4 3-pointers, so he's played well.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily need to bring him back.
There's Biggs with a foul. Tyrell Biggs gets his second field goal. Out of bounds, touched last by Jamel Cornley. So even when they try to hurry, it's not working.
Yeah, it was John Wooden's old adage, be quick, don't hurry.
That's true.
You know, that was a tough one because it appeared they had the hit ahead to Cornley. The Pitt staying with it. Got their hands on the basketball, knocked it off of Cornley, and the ball goes the other way.
From deep in the corner, that's a miss. Back comes Walker. He'll stop and shoot a long 3 and rattles it home. His first basket in the second half, his 11th 3-pointer on the season, and it makes it 64-32.
And he has not had many clean looks today, and that one by no means was a clean look. Levance Fields anticipated that he might pull up and shoot the 3 and ran at him. Nice tough shot by Mike Walker to drain that one.
Young will shoot a 3. Fields almost had a steal. Here comes Walker again.
Here, the Penn State might have had numbers on that play when Fields missed the steal, but the rest of the Panthers got back into the lane and clogged it. Made it difficult for Walker to take it inside.
And he finally gives it up to Claxton outside with 11:40 to play. Knocked away by Pittsburgh, stolen by Fields, kicks it ahead, and the jam by Benjamin. Well, Benjamin gets in on the act. It's 66-32.
And the real assist should have gone to Sam Young for his post defense with the step around, knocking the ball free, leading to the run out.
Fouled on the way in. That foul will go on Benjamin. Picks up his second, takes us to a timeout. Doyle Hudson set to check in for Pittsburgh, and the Panthers have been in control. The Zoo has enjoyed this one so far. A dump there, 66-32. 66-32 is the score. It was 49-24 at halftime. We've seen a lot of this. A good overplay for the steal. Sets up the resulting dunk.
Yeah, terrific post defense by Sam Young. Keyed the play. See how he steps around Travis Parker, number 11? No foul, knocks it away. Levance Fields beats him to the basketball. And an easy dish and finish for number 1, Keith Benjamin.
McSweeney will key the inbound play for the Nittany Lions under their own basket. This is Walker being tracked right now by Antonio Graves, but I tell you what, Carl Krauser has been in his back pocket most of this game.
Made it very difficult. They read the scouting report. Mike Walker, as Parker gets in deep, unable to finish.
But they keep the rebound alive, spinning and putting it up as Cornley.
That's his game, the power game. Likes to work inside, doesn't mind contact. Good job with the offensive rebound and the finish. Mike Walker made 5 of 8 from behind the arc against University of Missouri, Kansas City the other night. Pitt scouted that one very well, and we're anticipating that's where he likes to shoot the ball.
Now, the Nittany Lions in that game had 3 players come off the bench and score career highs, so they really were productive, over 50 points off the bench.
Yeah, 48 of the 50 points off the bench by those 3 guys.
Shot clock inside 10. Benjamin starts a move, spins, shoots, scores. 5 points for Keith, the sophomore from Mount Vernon, New York. We are nearing the midway point in the second half, and the Panthers have maintained the pressure. They came out gunning in the first and in the second half, and that's the guy that's had the 3-shot working. Silk McSweeney with 3 3-pointers, 9 in the game.
Yeah, we were talking about the bench scoring the other day for Penn State. Mike Walker, Jamel Cornley, and Milos Bogatic. Bogatic hasn't been heard from much today. Silk McSweeney picking up his slack off of the bench.
Good rebound by Parker off the miss, and there's another 3. That's off the line, and the rebound pulled down by Sam Young. Gets it ahead to Graves. Kick it to Fields. Ramon set to check back in along with DeGroat. A very well-balanced performance by Pitt this afternoon. Missed the shot. After all that work, it wouldn't go in. He did his part, and then you wind up giving up the foul back the other way.
There's never a question about the effort.
That's 3 fouls on Benjamin. He'll head to the bench along with Fields. Ramon and DeGroat check back in. Some other top 25 action on this Saturday afternoon from around the country. And it's Duke now beginning to roll over Texas with just 2 minutes to go in that ball game.
My understanding is that J.J. Redick had 41 points at one point in that game.
NC State is winning big. Arizona trying to fight their way back in that ball game. They've trailed most of the afternoon. There's another deflection and another steal. Foul on the drive, and that'll go against Jackson. 17 turnovers by Penn State has been part of their problem. The Pittsburgh defense has just been stifling against the Nittany Lions today.
A tough afternoon for Ed DeChellis and his crew. That's Ed DeChellis in the blue shirt squatting in front of Kurt Kanaski. To your left is assistant coach in a blue jacket, Hillary Scott. Another assistant coach there in the lighter colored blazer. All of them trying to come up with answers for what they've seen today.
The Panthers do have 18 of their 68 points off Nittany Lion turnovers.
Yeah, I'm sorry, John.
If it didn't come directly though off a turnover, it might have gotten a possession and an offensive rebound that points that way, you know?
Exactly, and another second chance, Aaron Gray with the offensive rebound but does not convert. As this heads towards Big East play, they're going to look for more and more of that from Aaron Gray. They like the offensive rebounds. They want to see the finish on the second shot.
Claxton trying to step through, and he picks up the foul. That's the 3rd on Aaron Gray. Speaking of Big East play, that for the University of Pittsburgh will begin on Wednesday, January 4th. They'll take on Notre Dame as they start Big East play. Penn State will play the day after on January 5th. They'll play at Ohio State to start their Big Ten schedule, and certainly they would like to improve a disappointing conference record that they had last year.
They only won 1 game within the Big Ten last year, as Carl Krauser does check back into the game for Pitt. And you look at Penn State, they got off to a 3-0 start this year. The last time a Penn State team started 3-0, they went to the NIT finals. I should say semifinals. Got beat in the semis in New York City. Had a 19-16 year. They'd sure like to see this year's 3-0 start translate into that type of record this year.
Well, as we can see, they've got some work to do. They've got to take better care of the basketball and be able to respond to some physical defensive pressure.
Good step out there by Travis Parker, number 11. Unfortunately, knocked it right back to a Pitt player.
Jump hooked by Gray, won't go. Kept alive underneath, and a foul. There's DeGroat, who is fouled on the play, and there'll be a 2-shot foul. So that's 4 fouls on Parker. We are here at the Peterson Event Center. 4th year this has been the basketball home of the University of Pittsburgh. I'm John Sanders along with Charles Davis. 100 years of basketball being celebrated, and they have a lot of different events planned. They'll bring former players back, Hall of Famers. They're going to have a throwback game. They just haven't decided which uniforms they're going to wear. And these two teams have been playing each other for 100 years.
Yeah, the first meeting was at 1904, in the 1904-1905 season. I believe Penn State won that game 30-4.
Well, actually, Penn State leads the overall series between these two teams, 75-69. But as I mentioned, the last 4 years, they have really been dominated by the Panthers. And a lot of people wondering if this series is going to peter out as the football series did. But and on the follow, it's going to be foul number 4 on Aaron Gray.
I read a couple articles regarding Robert Morris talking about possibly not playing Pitt anymore. And that looks like that one may go by the wayside. But I have a feeling that this Pitt-Penn State series, well, what's happened is that there's no contract signed as Aaron Gray picks up his 4th foul. But I have a feeling these two are going to find a way to play each other. There's a great amount of respect between Ed DeChellis, the coach at Penn State, and Jamie Dixon, the coach at Pitt. It's really a series that benefits both teams. And it benefits the whole state in terms of basketball. So I would not be surprised to see them find a way to keep it going.
I would agree with you. Bogatic hits the first at the line, his first point. He has not played very much. European-style player, likes to go outside. He's a good shooter. He hits both at the free throw line. Makes it 69-41 with 8:25 to go. Here on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh, in the Oakland section of Pittsburgh.
They must not have liked what Bogatic gave them coming off the bench in the first half, because he played well against Missouri, Kansas City. 14 points, 10 rebounds. They needed more of that today, but Coach DeChellis put him in for a short time in the first half and took him out, and now he's just getting back into the game for the first time here in the second half.
That's the second foul this afternoon on Claxton, who does have 11 points, but he's averaging 16, and he really has not been that much of a factor.
It's been a tough 11 points. Shooting percentage won't be great today. Very difficult. They try and find looks for him using screens and bumps. Pitt has made that very difficult today.
DeGroat for 3. Yes. 11 for him. So DeGroat, whose season high had been 7, has matched his career high with 11 points. Remember, he scored the first 5 points of the game this afternoon.
The officials getting together now. I saw them pointing at Milos Bogatic, number 41. Not sure what that's about, but having a little bit of a discussion right now.
Well, that's Jim Burr. He's the referee with Glenn Mayborg, the third of our officiating crew.
Could be a post-basket foul.
It's going to be a timeout, that's for sure. With 7:57 to play, it's all Pitt. Pitt leading 72-41. As we come back, let's take a look at our defensive player of the game. It's brought to you by Cooper Tires. Don't give up a thing.
So many guys you could choose from, but Levance Fields came into the ball game early in the first half. Keys a run out there with a steal, gets his hands on the ball and feeds it to Krauser for the finish. I just thought all the guards for Pitt today really set the tone for their defense on the perimeter. Getting their hands on balls, slapping them away, deflections, as well as the outright steal.
Well, you can bet that Fields, with Krauser departing after this year, will see plenty of time next year.
Developing quite well as a freshman for the Panthers.
Ramon for 3. Comes up short into the hands of Gray. Spins, puts it off the glass and in. So Aaron Gray has his 5th double-double in 7 games this season. As that gives him 10 points, he's got another double-double.
Had a terrific game against Duquesne the other night, 14 points, 17 rebounds. It was his birthday. I think they're going to tell him every day's your birthday if you keep playing like that, Aaron Gray.
And the foul as he weaved his way inside. Cornley will go to the line. The foul is on Levon Kinley. You can see Reddick with 41, and it's a blowout win for Duke in the matchup of 1 and 2.
So my information was correct. J.J. Reddick with 41 points today. Duke making a statement against the undefeated Longhorns. So many people pointing towards that game even in preseason, and the way both teams got out of the gate. Wanted to see what Texas would bring to the table. And that's a tough one for them, though, because when you think about it, Duke in the Meadowlands.
Well, as you
they're
pointed
home
out,
away from home.
They're pretty good.
It's 12-1 now, all time in the Meadowlands are the Duke Blue Devils.
Gray will go to the bench. Krauser to the bench. They come back with Biggs and Antonio Graves. And the afternoon could be over for those two guys. They did their part. A good inside play set it up, and I think partially Charles really opened the game up for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think that was Pitt's plan from the beginning as Penn State tries to press now. Giving the Panthers something else to work on, but I think the plan from Jamie Dixon and his staff right from the beginning, they come out man, go big.
Nice
see if
move.
they adjust.
Great play by the junior from Mansfield, Ohio. Graves has 7. Ramon knocks it out of bounds. So Penn State with 6:53 to go will keep it.
One thing I've noticed, John, is you've watched this Pitt team over the years, and this one is almost a brand new team because of the overwhelming talent that was lost with Chevy Troutman and Chris Taft, but everyone learning their roles on this team. Antonio Graves is a former starter for the Pitt Panthers, trying to readjust now. Keith Benjamin came here expecting to be a 2-guard, a scoring guard, using him a lot more at small forward. Guys trying to find their roles and expand their repertoires.
Knocked away, almost saved. The push was called on the play, so it goes the other way. Corley will pick up his 4th personal foul, as once again it's the freshman Sam Young checking back in. Look at the difference inside. We talked about it, and that's what really opened up for Pitt, especially early in the ballgame.
Yeah, just no real answer for Aaron Gray to get things started. John DeGroat went down into the paint, get the initial hoop of the game. Levon Kendall, Tyrell Biggs has come off the bench. Sam Young has come off the bench and played well inside, contributed to that total.
Kendall spins the second one home, and he's got a season-high 10 points. First time he's been in double figures this year. And there are 4 Panthers in double figures, led, of course, by the 20-point afternoon of Carl Krauser. Krauser just did everything well this afternoon.
You talked about him showing the total package. That he did.
Good job to fight that back up that time by Cornley, and they finally get the finish.
Bogatic over the top with the tap in for the hoop.
And Milos really just not physical enough for a lot of these Panthers, and they turned that over. Big East Conference off to a good start. Conference play, of course, has not begun, but you've already got 4 of the teams are undefeated, and 3 of those are in the top 5 in the country in the ranking.
Yeah, we see Pittsburgh at 6-0, but the one I noticed is St. John's with only 1 loss so far. Norm Roberts doing a terrific job resurrecting that program. West Virginia has 3 losses, but look who they lost to. Texas, LSU, and Kentucky.
Right.
I mean, those are 3 of the top teams in the country.
Bogatic gets the nice soft touch and rolls home his 2nd basket. The freshman from Serbia has been very quiet, and here in what is really garbage time, coming to life a little bit.
Well, they're glad to see anything positive happen. He's a guy who's going to spend a lot of time in the weight room in the offseason to get himself physically stronger. They do like the way that he understands how to play the game of basketball.
Good baseline move that time by Ronald Ramon. He has 5 points. 80-46 Panthers lead. Their offense is up this year. They came into this game averaging over 76 points a game, and they've got 80. No call, hell ball. And it'll be Pitt's basketball. The Panthers will have it. 80-46 here with 5:09 to play as our defensive player of the game comes back on the court. How about that start for Michigan against another new member of the Big East Conference?
So Robert McCollum's Bulls putting up a safety early in the the way it looks, but 26-2 runs we've seen how many times, John, turn into tight ball games later.
That's true. You can't always predict that.
But off to a great start, Tommy Amaker's Michigan Wolverines.
And a foul called inside on the scramble for the rebound. It'll be number 2 on John DeGroat. It's 80-46. The Panthers were up 49-25 at halftime. As you said, we're going to be interested to see how they played the second half. They maintained the same level of play and intensity that they had to start the ball game.
Not that they needed to answer any of my questions. I'm not the guy they have to please as Jamie Dixon, their head coach. But that question was answered emphatically the way the Panthers came out of the dressing room to begin the second half.
Now, Sip McSweeney has made 3 3-pointers, but he has missed 3 free throws. We've had 35 fouls in this game. finally drains one. He's got double figures at 10. Just the second in double figures for the Nittany Lions. Gary Claxton leading the way with 11 points. Now Fields will run the offense. Here's Young, DeGroat. Interesting mix. They work the young guys in with the older players. Fields picked up by Walker. Starts a move on him. Then finds Graves. Long three-pointer. Rims out. Biggs fouled on the putback. Bogatic will pick up his second foul, and Biggs will go to the line.
I like your observation about how they're mixing the lineups, talking about the Pitt Panthers. I think it's twofold. One, Jamie Dix is trying to find his rotations, who he wants to play with in what situation. And number two, you want to continue to mix and match because you never know when fouls, injuries, and other situations that crop into your conference play, and you're going to have guys on the floor that you didn't expect to have to play together. Try and get them comfortable playing with all combinations now so that later on it's not a shock to their system. They look up and go, oh my God, we don't have this guy. We have to find a way to play together.
Well, they have used 11 different guys this afternoon, and some of them have gotten significant minutes. So that's got to be a plus down the road.
Most guys will grade out well in this game in terms of coming off the bench and giving them productivity.
Thrown away, saved by Bogatic. Obradovic has checked into the lineup. That's a miss, a bad miss into the hands of DeGroat. Nikola Bogatic is in the ball game. Young for three. Drilled that one from the corner. Sam Young with 11.
He's had a terrific day, offensively and defensively.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he can be as acrobatic inside and still shoot threes, he's got a pretty good upside, I would say.
It makes it very difficult when you scout the team and you go back and tell your head coach, where he says, what about Young? Oh, athletic as heck inside. Okay, good, we'll play that way. No, he steps out and shoots the three too, coach. Now what?
He becomes the 5th Panther player in double figures as the foul goes on John DeGroat. 3:21 to play. Panthers in control. For the University of Pittsburgh, they're about to go 34-1 in this building against non-conference opponents, and overall improve the record to 54-5 as they have dominated Penn State for the 5th year in a row. And they made no mistake about it. They jumped on Ed DeChellis' team right off the bat when they came out of the locker room here this afternoon.
And frankly, if you're going to be a good team, that's what you have to do against a team that you should be, and that you are better than. The worst thing you can do is go out there and flounder around a little bit, let them hang around, and then you never know what happens at the end of a ball game.
That's true. That's kind of been one of the knocks on this team this year, is that they just have not really played with a lot of enthusiasm. And of course, the problem for the team last year was what you talked about, the inability to finish ball games. They would get down to the last 2 minutes, and even though they were senior dominated, they would make mistakes, and it cost them.
Many people commented about Pitt's early season schedule is not as tough as what has been the norm around here recently. I think it's been an ideal schedule for this team. Trying to learn a new identity, trying to find their way, give them some experience, some optimism, some wins early. 11 of their first 13 will be right here at the Pitt. One road game was 2 miles away at Duquesne.
That's right. That's not really a road trip at all.
The next road trip becomes a game at South Carolina. Shot clock at 8. Dave Odom, South Carolina team. Always tough. Not easy to go to Columbia. That'd be a good experience for the Pitt Panther team to go on the road and play an SEC team.
Well, then they come right back here on New Year's Eve and play a good Wisconsin team. So that will be the test. A miss, point blank underneath by Doyle Hudson, who was hoping to join the scoring parade. Everybody has been part of it for the Panthers this afternoon. Bogatic against Biggs. Good move, good shot. Where's that been all afternoon?
I think Ed DeChellis will ask him that in the film. Milos, I need more of that earlier.
Where was that? 85-51. Graves off the front of the iron. Bogatic the rebound. Here's Walker. I'll tell you one thing. Mike Walker getting the start in the absence of Ben Luber has played his heart out this afternoon.
He has. It won't show up in the stat sheet, but you're exactly right. Every possession, he's played hard.
He bounces it off the foot of a Pitt defender.
It's been that kind of an afternoon for Mike Walker.
And Graves is just laying home. He's got 9. And they already have 5 players in double figures, less than 2 minutes to go. And the fans standing and cheering because some of the little men who don't play much are about to come into this game. That won't go off the glass, and back the other way comes Levance Fields. Bowman's 3 on the way. Air ball. Picked up by Walker. Back comes Penn State. Missed the layup. Milos Bogatic cannot finish. Fields keeps his dribble. Foul line jumper good. So he joins the parade. He has scored. And that's a 3, and that has been the best weapon for Silk McSweeney. He's got 15 points, a career high for the junior. Final minute. 89-54. And now they'll call time to get Charles Small, one of the walk-ons, onto the court. The Panthers are cruising. 8 inches on the ground, and here's the man they wanted to see play, Charles Small. 10 different Panthers have scored in this game this afternoon. Follow won't go. Finally, Hudson gets the basket, and he becomes the 11th Panther to score points in this game this afternoon. They've played 12 guys, and 11 of them have scored. Final 30 seconds.
As we went to break, a great bit of sportsmanship displayed by Jamie Dixon. He took a 30-second timeout. And the only reason is because he wanted to get Charles Small into the ball game. He wanted to keep playing, but we were going to a break. And he waved down to Ed DeChellis, who totally understood what was going on, realizing Jamie Dixon was not trying to show him up.
And this is going to be, when all is said and done, the biggest win the Panthers have ever had against the Nittany Lions. Loose ball knocked away by Hudson out of bounds. Well, Penn State in the final 2.9 will have it. Total domination in this game by the Pitt Panthers, and that will do it. 91-54. A resounding win for the University of Pittsburgh. Jamie Dixon's team opened 7-0. They did it last year. They've done it again this year. We'll be back. 91-54. That is our final score. We're getting set to talk to head coach Jamie Dixon here in just a moment. Very good effort. Led, of course, by Carl Krauser. Krauser got off to a quick start. Didn't miss just one shot in the first half and wound up with 20 points to lead the scoring. So let's go out and take a look now at Charles Davis standing by with Carl Krauser. Charles.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Carl, what a terrific ball game. Was that something that you saw today? Was there something in pregame that said, I'm going to be hot shooting the ball?
A 2 o'clock in the afternoon game said that. You know, we wanted to come out here and get this win. You know, Penn State came out here. They're a great shooting team. They coached by a great coach. We knew it was going to be a good game. We just wanted to come out and execute our plays and what we were trying to do.
All right, thanks a lot, Carl. Terrific ball game today. Best wishes you and the Panthers as you go on. John, take it away.
All right, Charles, thank you very much. An easy win, maybe a surprisingly easy win for the Pitt Panthers this afternoon against Penn State. They had another sellout crowd of over 12,000. Jamie Dixon keeps it going. They are now 7-0. The Nittany Lions of Ed DeChellis will fall to 4-3. Penn State fell behind early and were never really recovered as the Panthers, led by the 20 points from Carl Krauser. They had 11 different players score in the game, and they dominated from start to finish. There's your final score. The Panthers of the University of Pittsburgh defeat Penn State 91-54. For Charles Davis and our entire Big East Conference basketball crew here in Pittsburgh, I'm